Quick announcement. In the east parking lot, a black Ford sedan, Oregon license plate 115NXZ. Your alarm is going off.
Good morning. One, two, three. I've got love, I've got peace, I've got joy flowing like a river. I've got love, I've got peace, I've got joy flowing like a river. One heart, one mind, one love flowing like a river. I've got hope, I've got strength, I've got faith, move every mountain. I've got hope, I've got
One heart, one mind coming together. We welcome you this morning to Unity Spiritual Center of Portland. Whether you are in this space or you're part of our virtual family, we know that we are one heart, one mind, one quantum field, one energy field from which all is created. And as we gather this morning, I just invite you, wherever you've been on your spiritual journey, to just take a breath, a huge breath, recognizing that we live and move and have our being within one presence and one power. It's active within us, it's active around us. We may be able to point out all the ways it doesn't look like it, but the truth is there is a movement of spirit that is always present, always available. You know, Joseph Campbell said we must be willing to let go of the life we planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. What I find so interesting is that sometimes when change happens, and we're in the middle, we're in the second week of our 7-week program on trusting change, on being able to navigate it with peace, with joy, with just that breath. But so often we move into change and we just say, and run back somewhere and say, let me find safety, let me find what used to be. And so as we gather, and there's a little bit of change around us here, so we are, and out here, you ought to see what I see, it's wonderful. Just remember that as humanity, we're all being asked to birth a larger story. That's the sacred journey we're on, and moving out of the known into that unknown is where we are. We're going to begin this service in prayer, as we know that in the next 10 days, there's a lot going on in this country. I just invite you to open your heart to know that all of humanity is a part of this journey of growth, and that we are here to hold that space of peace, of love, of safety, and of enough. So let's begin this service in prayer. We just open to that infinite presence and power that is within us, that lives as us this day, saying, here I am. Infinite Spirit, remind me of the truth of my being, that I am created whole, infinite, and complete. And the truth of every being, that pure light and love and presence is within them all. And the appearances right now, for those who are in the South and have lost their homes or life as they knew it, or any of the pieces, for those whose countries are at war, for this country, as we hold a space of a larger story, we know that pure love created us. It creates this larger story, and we say, I am willing to be a part. I hold it for you, for me, for all of humanity. We are an infinite creation of love. And to rest in this, and to know this, and to hold the highest and best happening in every life, in every country, and in our world, and to just see this rising, we say, here I am, infinite Spirit. I hold that space of love for all of humanity. For this opportunity to gather in this and to celebrate each day of the journey just as it shows up. We say thank you, infinite Spirit. And so it is. Amen. And Beth is coming up to share some of what's happening.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What a fun day we're going to have, right? All right. Well, first, as we do each week, we introduce our prayer chaplains who are here for you this morning. They are dressed as prayer chaplains, by the way, in costume. That's right. Colleen and Annette are here for you following the service to pray with you in person. If you need a little weekly uplift on the daily, which most of us are these days, you can use the Dial of Prayer. It has a wonderful, inspiring message for you each day. We do a Sunday guided meditation at 10:30 in the chapel on Sunday mornings, led by a chaplain. And we also have Annette who leads a 12-power study group on Sunday mornings at 9:15, which you are welcome to join in. You don't have to sign up or anything. You can just come and be a part of that. They have also created a very important event on Monday, November the 4th, with an Election Day prayer vigil. Now, I know a lot of us have been in a prayer vigil for about 9 months now, but you can come in collective consciousness, join with your community, set our intentions for a safe and peaceful process. And I heard this today, and I think it's great. Don't despair, we're almost there. So yes, that's it. All right, well, we have so many thank yous this morning. What a wonderful week we have had here at Unity of Portland. Oh my gosh. So we started off on Tuesday with a wonderful event where we hosted Marianne Williamson here. Fabulous event. I want to thank some key people, which are Dixie and Cher and Barbara. Will you all stand? And any of the volunteer team that was here to help facilitate that, you all stand as well. We had a wonderful evening. And then Friday night, oh my gosh, community came together. We had an amazing talent show. I heard it was the most attended one that they've ever had here. It was just fabulous with our participants here. It was wonderful, wonderful. We had so much support. And we did feel a lot of connectedness, and it was wonderful. And if you missed it, Leah Rose has made some CDs for $5. You can get and find all the wonderful comedy and the songs and all the wonderful things that happened. We're also leaving on the donation page because our music program is pretty darn special. We love them. We want to keep them around. Yes. So you will see some QR codes around the building. You can see on there that it's for the music program. If you go to the push pay on the donate button, you pull that down and you can go to the talent show music program. So share a little bit of love with our music team. Reverend Lisa's leading the Metaphysics 1 class, and that begins this Tuesday, October the 29th. It's a hybrid class. It's on Zoom and in person, so you can do that either way. I know some people have said, oh, I haven't got anything about that yet. We usually send those Zoom links out on the morning of the class, and so that it doesn't get lost in your email. So look for that on Tuesday. And yeah, you can join the class, $80 if paid before the first class this Tuesday. There's more information on the table out there and sign-ups. And you can also sign up using your newsletter, too. There's a link in there. The holiday marketplace is just a few weeks away. We have been busily planning for this. I know Dixie's collected a lot of silent auction items. You can still get those into us if you have a special experience you'd like to share with us. November 15th and 16th. We want you to invite your family and friends. We want you to come. It's a wonderful event. We have over 35 vendors this year. Our YOU is having a few tables. They're selling some goodies and wreaths and all kinds of wonderful things. Their wreath sale starts today. I'm sure you'll hear more about that later. But we're also going to have live music. We're going to have pictures with Santa downstairs. We're going to have lunch available for purchase. And we're going to have a community craft table for kids of all ages. You can make some holiday ornaments. So we invite you to come. Again, that's November 15th and 16th. Get a jump on your holiday shopping. It's really not too early to start. All right, men's retreat coming up at the end of November, the 22nd and 23rd. They're doing in-house retreat this year. It's a Friday night and a Saturday. We have registration forms in pamphlet form out on the lobby table. You know, the men's group's our longest running group here at Unity of Portland. They've got it going on, and they have been creating wonderful retreats here. Yeah, give them a hand. They have sustained. They are fabulous. And so they've been creating these wonderful retreats for many years. And I understand you don't have to be an attending member of the men's group to join. You just have to be a man or identify as a man, and you're welcome. And you can pick up that pamphlet on the lobby table this morning. So next Sunday, following the service, November 3rd, Reverend Lisa will be holding New Thoughts for a New Life, which is a workshop following the service. It's also one of the requirements, if you haven't met any of the others, for membership. So if you're thinking about that, you might want to attend. This is all about unity principles, what we use here in our lives here at the Unity of Portland. And we'd love for you to come and join and learn more about that if you're interested in that. We would also love for you to partner with us through membership, and you can do that. This is the first step for that. You can pick up a membership application, which is out on the lobby table. You can fill that out. You can also click the link in the newsletter, which will take you to that. And so we just would love to have you come and join us and be a part of that. You either have to join a spirit group, attend the class next Sunday, read the 5 Principles by Ellen Davenport, or transfer your membership from another community. So we welcome you to join us. And let's see, LGBTQ plus group meets today following the service. They'll be in the chapel. And the scariest announcement I have today is that next weekend the clocks fall back. Yeah, I know. Oh, we all feel that way. I know. We going to bed at 7. Yeah. So anyway, don't be late to service next Sunday, folks. Make sure you set those clocks back. I understand that you might be put to work at Coffee and Connection if you show up an hour late. So there you go. Just putting that out there. So anyway, it's time for us to welcome anyone who's with us for the first time this morning. As you can see, we are a fun-loving, vibrant community. We're glad you're with us today. If you didn't get a welcome packet on your way in, raise your hand. Our ushers have those and would love to present you with one. On the back, there's a card. If you fill that out, it gets you on our newsletter mailing list. And we have so much coming up. We know you're going to want to know everything that's going on. On the front, there's a rose sticker. We'd love you to put that on your name tag so we know who you are. And we invite you down to Coffee and Connection today, which is pretty happening with Halloween down there. YOU spent the night here last night, created a haunted house. They've got everything going on for young and old. All of us kids get to play. There's a lot of fun happening down there. So we'll see you after the service. Thanks so much.
Yes, there are some tired teens, and they are very enthusiastic. Our Uniteens they're down there practicing how scary and how unscary they can make it. So they have all different levels, 0 through 4. So I just want to say welcome to all of you. Whether this is your first time or you have been here for 25 or 30 years, I just want you to know wherever you are in your spiritual journey, you're welcome here. If this message works for you, I would encourage you to become a part. I believe right now, where we are in humanity, one of the greatest things we can do is gather together, support each other, remind each other that we are whole, infinite, and complete just as we are, and that we are here to move forward with that message and that idea. If these ideas don't work for you, I would encourage you to continue seeking. Find a place that reminds you of the truth of who you are and supports you on your journey and allows you to move forward. So we're thrilled to have you here. We are going to stand and sing. And we are singing, what are we singing? Our loving will change the world. Loving Oh, yes, and I just invite you to turn to those around you and welcome them here. I see who you are. It's good to have you with us. Susie Ellen is going to do the meditation. Wow, how many days during the week do we get the opportunity to say hello and hug or greet someone and know that truth in them? I think it's a reminder that there's a place where all of us can open to a journey of acceptance and of acknowledging the light in each being. In just a moment, we're going to move into a time of meditation. In Unity and New Thought, we believe, and so much of the world does, that the answers are within us. The truth of who we are is part of our DNA. It's vibrating, cellularly vibrating through us. And so the opportunity just to spend a few moments in meditation and in silence is the opportunity for all of us to remember that every day as we begin our days in that silence, we actually allow our bodies to relax and our minds to become open. So Susie Ellen will be sharing that, and I invite you to listen to the music.
I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love. am dropping down, surrendering in love, surrendering in love, surrendering in love, surrendering in love.
Taking some time now to softly close your eyes if that's comfortable, and open that heart of hearts that is within us this morning that just loves life just how it is and just how it is not. Knowing that each one of us is on an evolutionary, conscious opening to Spirit itself, to know who we are and to see that truth in every person we meet, to know that we are all on an evolutionary journey to peace, to joy, to openness, to universal love. And each one of us within us carries that spark, that joy, that openness to all that is and all that can be. And so this morning, just taking a moment to softly close the eyes, if that's available, and just spend a quiet moment knowing that you are the answer, you are the love, and you are the peace. It's in every one of us to feel that wisdom and love of life. It is not far off. It is right here, is right in the heart of hearts. Each one of us is the answer. Each one of us is the message. We are all called forward today and every day to be the love and the hope and the joy that we want to see in the world. It is up to each one of us right here and right now.
I am dropping down, to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love, surrendering in love, surrendering in love, surrendering in love. Fully, fully, I am fully, fully. There is clarity in this place when I listen and embrace all the love that's reaching out just to find me. Take my hands, fill my heart, move my soul to the start, fly my mind and remind me when and how to let go. Because I'm fully, fully, I am fully, fully, fully relying on God. There is more for us to know. Keep on asking until it is so. Feel the love that's reaching out just to find you. Take my hands, fill my heart, move my soul to the start, fly my mind and remind me when and how to let go. Because I'm fully, fully, I am fully, fully, fully relying on God. Take my hands, fill my heart, move my soul to the start, fly my mind and remind me when and how to let go. Because I'm fully, fully, I am fully, fully, fully relying on God. Fully, fully, I am fully, fully. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. I am fully relying on God, on an infinite presence and power as we move along this journey, which, by the way, we're in our second week of a 7-week program. In the fall, we do something called Adventures in Faith. And none of you may have heard that name before. We've actually been doing it as long as I've been here, so what is that, 18 years. That in the fall, we go deeper into an idea. And this week, we're going deeper, or this fall, we're going deeper into the idea of trusting change. And I'm surprised anybody came back the second week, because usually you mention change and everyone goes, I don't know. This isn't exactly what I want to be doing. But my challenge and my desire is we don't just come together to hear nice words. I believe we come together because we are spiritually evolving. And like it or not, the universe is going to say, oh, honey, let me help you evolve. Let me offer this cosmic 2x4, or sometimes we think they're larger than that, or it might be a universal one, or a countrywide one, but we're evolving individually, collectively, and globally. And we have the opportunity to choose some of the path. How much suffering do we allow? Are our choices one that are reminding us that we are whole, infinite creations of spirit? Or we may be raised in a tradition that said we're less than whole, and we don't have what we need, and that if we're okay, they're wrong, or that we're better than someone, or that, those are old ideas that the universe, if you look around you, everywhere is saying enough. And usually that looks like literally chaos. We can see it. We can see it in our elections right now, which I hope every one of you has voted or made plans to vote. And if you need support, I'm sure Alice in the bookstore will help you get there. She will walk you there if she has to. But this idea of us holding that space, of the truth of who we are, and recognizing we're not alone in this journey. Every one of us, you've heard it 1,000 times. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. Isn't it fascinating that every human experience I know is working with the idea of, are you enough? Are you love? Are you lovable? Are you, there are all these ideas of who we are. And we're looking to create a larger story. And so we're looking with the little ideas. We're looking with the larger ideas. And it is such a powerful journey to do that. So last week, we started just talking about change. And I wanted to share with you, first of all, we're using the book, Finding Yourself in Transition. And it is using life's changes for spiritual awakening. Most of us run from change. And what that does is make it really hard. Let me ask this. Is there anybody experiencing any change in their life right now? Anybody? Okay, we do have some that say yes, that's good. Usually it's one or two people, and some people are holding up two hands. That's the nature of the universe. Now, those who are looking at the evolutionary movement of consciousness are saying that the change, and it's an inner change that's happening, and it's happening all around us, has sped up. We're being required. 50, 70 years ago, your ancestors were not required to change a whole lot. They were, at some point in the early teens, women were fighting for votes. They wanted the right to vote. There obviously, in the racial area, there has been a desire for change forever. And as anyone in this room who is not a person of color, we are the needed change. And so the ability to look at that, but it wasn't in the newspaper. There wasn't any place where they could get it. And so it was just kind of like life's going on. Let's just hope my neighbors don't change. Now, it's a whole different world. It's coming all over the place. And so our ability to anchor it, to allow it to move through us, and then to both make meaning of it and to find healthy ways to work through it is a powerful, powerful part of the journey. So last week, and I'm reading these chapter summaries. If you don't have one of these, Alice has a few in the bookstore. We have spirit groups. All but one is full. You know what? They're not back there anymore. Ask Annette. She will go find out. If you need any help, Annette not only teaches the 12 Powers course, but she's responsible for our groups that meet going over this material every week. If you're not in a group, get the book and go over it yourself and ask yourself. There's questions, there's a summary, but just look at how am I dealing with change? Because when we learn that, our life shifts. When we recognize that things may happen all around us, but we have the ability to be in our center and to move through them, it changes our world. But the first chapter, change is inevitable. It's just there. It's always been true, but it's especially so today. Deep and radical changes are occurring around us and within us. Some of our basic assumptions about life are being challenged. Few of us have learned to deal with change in a healthy way. We often resist change because it confronts us with our fear of the unknown. One of the deepest human needs is the need for meaning. We use meaning as a roadmap of reality. And for us to grow, for us to evolve, we have to change. But if we get into the parts of change, and we'll go through that in just a little bit, it gets scary because we're in a wilderness, we're in a void, we're in a scary place, and often we just run right back because there is safety in old consciousness even when it hurts. And so the ability to say, wait a minute, oh, this is change. Oh, I'm supposed to be uncomfortable. Okay, I can live in the unknown. This is what it is for a while. And because we change individually, collectively, and globally, right now we are living in a country that there is great change. And so we're living in the unknown no matter what. And the ability to do that without melting in fear or being frantic all the time is part of that journey. Let me finish this, I apologize. Change often shatters our sense of meaning and takes us into new territory where the old maps no longer work. Anybody been there? That's what it does. And the request for change does also. Sometimes that cosmic 2x4 gets so loud, we don't have any other choice. We are, stress is an evolutionary driver. And the ability to say, wait a minute, I'm going to go through this and I'm going to find a larger piece. Every change is a type of death. Yet change is characteristic of growth, and growth is a characteristic of life. It's part of the journey. Our fear of death, of change, is fear of life itself. To resist death, to resist an ending, to resist in change is to resist life. For every death is the harbinger of new life. Every time there's an ending, and look at the seasons. This is nature. That's what happens in nature. It's what happens in our hearts, and it's what happens in our souls, in our being. And sometimes we may say, why doesn't everybody see what I see? It has to change. Have you ever seen humanity walk at the same speed or in the same way? There's still a need. And the people who have the courage to say, it's me, I'm the one who's been called. If you're feeling it, you're the one who's been called. And to be able to do that begins creating consciousness. And one of the things that when we look at metaphysics and the idea of consciousness, what we know is the more people who hold a space, the easier it is for others to move into that space. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, when he was doing his scientific work on evolution, he called, and again, the word he used was peduncle because there wasn't a word in the 40s when he was writing his material, and so it is no longer used today. But it is the idea of gathering energy and gathering ideas and gathering in strength. And so we're the ones that are that part of that journey. And so our opportunity is to do that. Andrew Cohen, he was in years ago, and it was called What is Enlightenment magazine, and he was writing an article, but I want to just read the little part of it. He said, so much, right now there's so much invitation to change and evolve and to move. And of course, many times we have been taught, by the way, we are moving out of competition and comparison into cooperation. And so we've tried to blame another, and we have taken the energy for evolution and we have squandered it over there. Whether this is an individual thing and you are blaming somebody else, or it is a larger piece, we have got to focus on these ideas and standing in them. It doesn't mean we don't blare it from the rooftop of our house if that's what we want to do. But we allow ourselves to stand in an idea. But to blame anyone else is a really tough journey to go, somewhere in there. But he said, so much hangs in the balance. And I think of the issue, the issue of transformation has never been more important. But he said, in all the years of teaching a spiritual path, and at that point, I think he was up to about 30, that calls for radical transformation, I can say unequivocally that the simple truth is that everybody wants to get enlightened, but nobody wants to change. And change, actually, I was working with people who wanted to change their spending habits. And in Dayton, I did that a lot. And I used to have 20 different credit cards in my freezer because that was the only way people could, they'd say, would you hold this? And I'm like, I don't want your credit card. So I'd put it in a bag in my freezer. They would go through the same physical withdrawals as drug usage. they would go through a withdrawal of not spending, because we have gotten so much into that. And so we're being asked to change for a sustainable planet. We're being asked to do huge amounts of change in many areas. Yasuhiko Kimura, a Japanese-American author of the book Think Cosmically, Act Globally, says, transformation, ongoing transformation, implies that you need to continually dissolve the old meaning of your life and create life anew. And you actually need to recognize the central meaning of your life to be the evolutionary process itself. Change and evolution in our consciousness is actually what we came for. Did anybody tell you that when you were growing up? Oh, beautiful one, you came to change. You came to evolve. You came to grow. Our desire for every youth down there, all of them in their costumes right now, is to remind them that they are whole, infinite, and complete, and they came equipped with everything they need to evolve and to grow and to make this transformational journey, and so did we. And so the old habit you might have had of attacking yourself in the corridor of your mind, that's one of the things that has to evolve, these old ideas. But what's fascinating is that is a direct result of what many fundamental churches and traditions were teaching. You are, and adding the word sinner. And so it was a consciousness that was used starting in 352 AD, I believe it was. And it was a consciousness that's been built. And so moving that actually requires us to stand in a different idea. And so one of the first things we have to realize is that life and everything we're going through is a process. So we don't just get an ending. Wouldn't it be nice? This ended, and here's the new birth, and isn't life wonderful? I mean, anybody desire that? I do. You know, it's like this ended, and often when we see something ending that we can control, we hold on as long as we can until there's a guarantee. I'm not taking this step. My niece did not let go of the wall until she could walk across the room. So she would just scoot, holding on to whatever it was, and look. And she, you know, somebody said, oh, she's delayed, she's this, she's that. By the way, she ended up as a track athlete and other things. You know, it was not a problem. But at that time, she didn't walk until she had the full ability, and then she just walked across the room one day. And we went, what? But that is wonderful there. It is not a wise skill for life. I have really realized that. We want guarantees. But if we shift to a consciousness of there's a presence and a power, there is a quantum essence that I live and move and have my being within. That means wherever I am, and I'm talking the baby that's born and the being that's making their transition from this life journey, there is a presence that is holding me, that is loving me, that created me whole. And when I say holding me, I'm not talking about a guy up in the sky. I'm talking about a field of energy. And when we get quiet and begin owning it for ourselves, I am a creation of love. Now, my actions don't always look that way. And if you ask my 25-year-old, she will tell you absolutely not. She keeps telling me what to do, and she has too many rules, and believe me, that's part of that journey. But who we are, beginning to trust that there is an essence holding us. And I would call it, you know, from AA, the God of your understanding. This essence, this light, this love, this presence, this power. But to move to that idea, to take on any idea, we're in the New Thought movement. That requires that you take on some new ideas. Has anybody ever said, I am my life, I'm going to be the love? And then you walk out and somebody gives you a smart comment. It's like, well, forget that. This doesn't work. Or we go home and we pray and we meditate, and it works wonderfully at church, and then we get home and pretty soon that vacuum cleaner won't work. This won't happen. This won't, we start getting upset. It's a process. And that process requires us to be willing to trust the divine wisdom and order inherent within the process. Trying to force our personal will on a process is usually counterproductive and maybe very damaging. When my husband passed away, and many of you know his journey, some of you don't, I'd been married 25 years. He chose death by suicide from some medication he went on, and I allowed myself in that. I am grateful I had Unity principles. The first thing I did was begin a prayer I learned in kindergarten. God is my help in every need. God does my every hunger feed. Alice has it. It's called the prayer of faith, and I did it over and over and over again. And then I gave myself 1 year to heal, and that was it. That was me in my mental process saying that's what's allowed. Now, that was a joke, an absolute joke, and I learned that in about 2 weeks. But that's how many of us do that? Okay, this is what good enough is going to look like. It's going to look like this. I kind of think the universe laughs at us because we make all these plans, but we're making them in our heads. We're not saying, wait a minute, I am a part of this change of the universe. And the change in the universe that I may be responsible for making may be taking what's present in my life, trusting that within it is the innate wisdom. If there is a presence and a power everywhere present, it's present within every situation in your life. And to know I'm being held, whether it's physical, whether it's spiritual, whether it's an emotional one, whether your soul is hurting, every part of it, we are a part of it. And so he talks about, this mechanistic paradigm of I can think it right. I can make myself do this or this or this. With my foot that many of you know I didn't get to walk the Camino as I wanted to, and some of the other pieces because of this beautiful foot. It doesn't listen to a thing I say. Instead, I get to both hold it in prayer and know that there's an innate wisdom in there. My physical therapist is wonderful. I get to do the exercises as long as it takes. As long as it takes, and that's where we're going. And so, as humanity, there have been huge changes. And you can say, oh no, there aren't. Look at the war here, look at this. The truth is, we have not stopped evolving in consciousness. We've come to a point where there is a loud, large shift being required, and we're all a part of it. But Robert Brummett puts it this way. He said, our mechanistic, time-bound, consumerist lifestyle sees most things and sometimes people as here for our own use. That attitude has not been working, and it doesn't help our body and soul. Instead, he goes on to say, as humanity, we're slowly moving towards a vision of humanity as being intrinsically related to nature, the cosmos, a vision that honors ourselves and our environment as having innate, inherent value that is absolute and unconditional. You belong to it all. You belong to the change that's required. We belong to all of the pieces. And a transition is often a time of crisis. Most of us could look back in our lives and say, this time, this time, this time, and this time. And then what we get to do, though, we don't usually like that, we get to find the new, deeper part of ourselves whenever we go through anything. In Chinese, the word crisis comes from two words, one meaning danger and the other meaning opportunity. Crisis in there. So there's danger, but the danger is I don't want to just say the ego, because I actually believe we evolve through the ego. We have to let go of a lot, but it knocks down the meaning I had so that I can learn a larger meaning. When I go on the Camino and I'm with people from all over the world, it reminds me we are all the same. We all desire to love and to connect and to be a part of something larger. And it doesn't matter whether it's in our language or not. What matters is that we share these ideas. And so transition is an uncomfortable time. And yet it's always meaningful. What would happen if when the endings in our lives happen, and I'm not just talking about big ones. There's people who leave our circle. There's people who get mad at us. There's family members we can understand, those we can't. There's our bodies. There's aging, which, by the way, Pat Greendale is turning 94 on Tuesday. And she's been telling me some of the things she learns and how she goes through her journey. We have a teenager downstairs who is turning 18 on Tuesday, and Sahel. And so it's like I look at these different journeys. We are all on them. And they can, what would happen if instead of running from them? Doesn't mean we have to like it, by the way. I'm not saying we have to like it, but sometimes we have to say, here I am. What would it look like? What would the journey look like? Some are inevitable. Anybody aging? Anybody know? But what would happen if, we have, and I've seen many, in the Unity movement, I used to work with the YOU, so the teenagers, and I would see them move from high school and full of life in themselves, and they have all these Unity ideas, and then they go to a campus with 10,000 people or more. And they're just like, who am I? What do I do? That's one of those transitions that's pretty much given, and we got to find out where it is. Whatever it is that is a journey of your life, losing a job, not finding a job, never having some of the pieces you think are necessary, that is a call of the universe to find new meaning, to find something larger and to find more of ourselves. Now, the process of change has, and he goes through, we're going to look at 3 different sections, and we'll start next week. It has an ending. And by the way, if we shut down at endings, we experience nothing but suffering, sometimes for years and eons, because we thought that's all there was. That ending, and each transition begins with an ending. What would happen when something ended? We would just say, oh, this is transition. I am moving into something else. Now, let me tell you that the next section is what I've always been heard to call the wilderness. Now, we'll be, and that idea and the void, it's the stage is characterized by a feeling of emptiness and a sense of wandering in the wilderness. Has anybody felt like that during the pandemic or right now? Anybody? We have a few that have. We are changing human consciousness on a huge level. We have been in the wilderness for quite a few years. It's fascinating. And we weren't expecting it or used to it, so what do? And then there comes a new beginning. These stages always occur in that order. So if we don't want to go through the wilderness, we're not going to get to the full meaning of who we are and what we came to do. We're not going to understand the truth of who we are and allow it to change us at depth if we don't want to go into that wilderness. And these stages parallel the ancient ritual, the rite of passage, where they're, with going into adulthood, many of the indigenous cultures they would go through this symbolic death and rebirth, this separation. They'd go out into the wilderness and they would sit in the Waldorf school. They have these kids do the silent sit. They go out by themselves and they get away and they go through the separation, the initiation, that finding a new part, and then a returning. And what does it mean? I return as a larger being. I return as something different. And so I just want us to get excited today about endings. I want us to change the meaning that an ending has in our lives, and we can always go back and we can change the meaning that it has. I'm not talking about making this not sacred. I know there are beings in this space who have been through unbelievable endings. I understand. And I know that your journey did not come to end in significance when that happened. You are a creation of the universe designed to be a part of the evolution of consciousness right where you are. And so we get to go through something more. And Robert Brumman said, each of us who are going through a transition is following a path of the potential hero. This is what Gene Houston called the hero's journey. It's this ancient mythology of this. And what if endings are not breakdowns, something gone wrong? What if we could let go of the sense of being out of control and vulnerable to the apparent random events that impact and shape our lives? What if we could allow and celebrate and move through those endings, allowing something more? T.S. Eliot said it this way: what we call the beginning is often the end. And to make an end is to make a beginning. The end is where we start from. So if we could start saying, when it's the end of life as we know it, in this way, what if we could start saying, oh, that's the beginning of a spiritual journey. That's the beginning of my journey. This is where I'm moving. This is who I am. The biblical story of Exodus will be a pattern we'll be using. And it's, historically, it's the story of a tribe of, the Hebrew people escaping from a life of slavery in the land of Egypt, crossing the arid wilderness of the Sinai Peninsula, and arriving eventually in the land of Canaan, the Promised Land. What's fascinating is, it's not just the geographic change that happened, but what it took place in the journey. It was not in the Promised Land, but in the wilderness that the Israelites made the transition from a nomadic tribe of refugees to a nation with an identity, a covenant, and a mission. And so in the last 30, 40 years, I've lived my life knowing that every time there's an ending, I was actually leaving a form of slavery. They were in slavery. And if you look at what some of these ideas mean, the Israelites are leaving slavery. They finally, and what it took to escape was not easy. You go into the 40 years in the wilderness. By the way, in the Aramaic teaching, 40 means as long as it takes. Do you know how many times grief takes as long as it takes. But we have the ability to find new meaning in who we are and in what we came to do through that grief. We can allow it to live us and grow us and rise above that. Moses led the people out of Egypt. And by the way, Egypt, the metaphysical interpretation in the Bible, it means sense consciousness that cages us. Anybody have anybody living in Egypt right now? Let me just ask that. Okay, we have one person living in slavery to thoughts, to beliefs, to fears that won't let us go. We did not come to live in Egypt. To move into the wilderness is to say, I am willing to learn from this journey no matter what it is. And when we do, we will find a larger picture that will change us at depth and remind us we came to be the change we desire to see. Thank you. Okay. As we keep doing that, I wanted to mention, and the board suggested I do, sometimes I forget to tell you of some of the projects we're doing. We're going to get ready to receive tithes and love offerings and the generous giving that people share with our community. As we move into the 99th year, part of the work that Unity of Portland has so graciously backed, and I'm so thankful for, is our work in Nigeria. Some of you are aware of it, some of you are not. This year we sent 55 middle school age girls to school. They are Unity girls studying these messages in a country where many of them couldn't read. So part of what we have done is get them books. Alice has been so helpful. We have done several projects. Another project we do that I haven't talked about much is that we put on every year, we sponsor a children's camp. And I just got the news that normally it's 200 youth. They are elementary age. They come into a place that I have been to, Uzu-Akoli, Nigeria. It's Unity World Headquarters in Nigeria, and they have created their own building. And they are taught spiritual ideas straight from Fillmore books by the teens and by adults. In the past, they've had 200 youth, and they have learned this, which I just keep thinking, in Nigeria, for a young girl or a young boy to learn I am a creation of the infinite, of God, and that presence goes with me is so powerful. This year, they had 400 youth, and we were able to sponsor that. It comes from tithes and love offerings, and we're starting to reach out and ask other communities and Unity School and other communities to help us in this. But every one of those youth received a shirt that allows them to go to school, because you cannot go to school as in the younger grades unless you have a polo shirt, and they don't make many polo shirts. Most families can't afford that. They were given a pencil, and they were given a notebook that they can actually write in, which for most of them is the first time they've ever had that. So I just wanted to share with you that when you think we're just doing it here and we're working here, these ideas are going around the world, and these kids are saying, well, there is enough. I can go to school. I can learn. I can grow from these same ideas. So I just wanted to share that with you. Now I will do what we're normally doing. And so but thank all of you. These are tithes that come from Unity. And part of what we invite you to do is be a part of that giving. as we move into our 100th year, we are anchoring these ideas in the ability to have a community such as this and to have places to gather and to do things. And so with that love offering, I know we have a slide that will show you the places you can give, and hopefully they are in the backs of your chairs. I'm going to take it. And they've added a QR code if you would like to give on with your phone today. And it's an ability just to say we believe in the ideas. We believe in humanity in a lot of ways and our ability to help each other. And so as we hold those gifts, and there's many other ways you can give, they're on this card, I just want you to anchor the knowing that we belong to it all. And we're going to say our blessing together, and I invite you to say that with me. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Thank you, God.
We're beautiful and fruitful, compassionate and truthful. We're all together joyful, the Unity family. Our house is filled with freedom, where hearts you really see 'em. Authentically we'll be 'em, the Unity family. Neat, sweet, release. We're welcoming and helpful, transformative and grateful. We're all together joyful, the Unity family. Our house is filled with freedom, where hearts you really see 'em. Authentically we'll be 'em, the Unity family. Neat, sweet, release. So stand up strong, rely on our inner light to shine on. We're gonna pay a call on the Unity family.
Oh, yes. And this journey, we have come to have fun. In just a moment, we'll sing our youth in. I wanted to share with you, if you are interested in taking the metaphysics class, again, we're going to go through what are the spiritual ideas beyond this physical world? What are the ideas that support us through this journey? And how do we allow ourselves to live with them in every moment of our day? Because the idea isn't that we leave them behind, but that we carry them with us and live them. In just a moment, we're going to sing our youth in. They're coming up. And again, I believe we belong to it all, and that means we belong to the youth in this community and in the world. And so however they're dressed, learning not to compare, but instead to cooperate is actually a part of retraining our brains. And I would encourage you this week to learn to find the divine in every being. And so as we allow our love to encircle this space right here, their hearts know that they are loved, they are whole, and they are complete.
You are the star of the morning. You are heaven smiling at us. You're God's gift of tomorrow. Oh, how we love you. Oh, how we love you. You are the star of the morning. You are heaven smiling at us. You're God's gift of tomorrow. God's gift of tomorrow. Oh, how we love you. Oh, how we love
Wow, are we blessed or what? Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. We are going to take a picture of them for a moment, and while we're doing that, we had something that we wanted to just say thank you to the Pope and to Susan, to Michael and Susan, just to say thank you for what you did with our talent show. And now the Pope's going to take a picture. Go ahead. Okay, are you? You'll be crabby. That's Barbara, if you haven't met Barbara. Okay, our Uniteens have spent the night, is that correct? And our YOUers.
Yesterday, the Uniteens and the YOUers came here so we could set up our haunted house that is open downstairs. We all worked very hard on it, and we are very excited to share it with you. And you can also play some of the games that are set up for the kids down there. And if you go through the haunted house, there is an option for love offering, just so you know. But yeah, we're very excited that we get to present it to all of you.
Okay, when are the Uniteens going to their next retreat? When are you guys leaving? Is it next 2 weeks? Okay, so we have another week. All right, so with that, again, we'd love for adults to do it. The kids will be doing it. You get to tell them 0 through 4. 0 is with the lights on and no scary. 4 is very scary. So you can choose your journey like we do get to do in life. And we are going to stand and join hands and sing Let There Be Peace on Earth and Let It Begin with Me. Oh, yes. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. And we get to say our unity prayer together. Then we're going to sing our youth out. We'd invite you afterwards to follow them and come downstairs if you're able to. And remember, we have name tags on because my desire is that every one of us learns 3 names that we did not know before we came in today, because we just get to connect with each other. So we're going to say, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is swell. And they say swell with very firm meaning. Okay, enjoy the costumes. Let's go. I think.
I'm gonna move
to the light
I'm gonna speak
of the light,
I'm gonna sing
with the light,
I'm gonna dance
in the light.
when I
Choose to remember the Spirit is all. I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light.
I'm gonna move
To the light
I'm gonna speak
of the light,
I'm gonna sing
with the light,
I'm gonna dance
in the light.
when I choose to remember
The Spirit is all. I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light.
when I choose when I
Choose to remember the Spirit is all.
I
Rejoice and give praise.
and I
Shine in the light.
Oh,
Shine in the light.
yeah,
Shine in